Um, I'm on my shit today. I'm gonna just be blunt about it. I'm not playing with y'all today. I'm not. I'm here to fucking pod. So before I begin, I feel like I gotta use my platform, this God-given platform, to address a problem that really concerns me. As you can see, I put a concentrated effort into how I dress or how I look. I think if you go through all of the episodes, I look decent, clothes wise, like dress wise. I know I'm ugly, but I'm talking about dress wise. You know what I hate to see? When people put a concentrated effort into trying to dress nice and it just doesn't look right. One of those fashion trends, there's a couple actually that I'm gonna get to right now. One of those trends is wearing denim on denim, and it's alright. So denim on denim is okay, right? I don't have a beef if you wear denim on denim. It's when you start wearing the same color denim on denim. Like if you wear light blue with light blue. Like what the fuck? Like what are you doing, bruh? You look like a pant leg, bro. Like what are you doing? Like right now, look. Like right now, I'm wearing sweats, right? Sweats. It don't look bad. Like it looks good. Just wear some black sweats. But I don't know, man. People will wear this color jacket and then the same color pants. You look a fucking man. It's sad. It saddens my heart to see people who try to dress and not do a good job at it. Another one of those fashion trends that I was talking about is a fucking people who wear the bulletproof vests for fucking fashion. Oh my god, you look idiotic. That shit is so ugly to me. Ew. All right, let me move on because I'm not here to talk about me, man. Let me move on, man. Let's get this shit started. I'm gonna play this song because of some news that came out today, and I'm starting with the news. This is one of my favorite Mac Miller songs ever. This song is on his mixtape. The mixtape is called Faces, and this song is called New Faces. I gotta turn it up. Let me introduce this shit, man. Let's get into it. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. Welcome to the Case Study Podcast. I'm your host, Isaias Hernandez. I'm just here to give you guys a good time, man. That's all I'm here to do. I'm not here for nothing more, nothing less. I'm just here to give you guys a good time, man. So let's talk about some shit, man. I'm here to talk about some shit today, and I'm starting with Mac Miller today. That means I'm gonna be sad. Alright, beautiful Jersey weather. Not really. It's been snowing. Like it's all mushy outside. This shit's fucking disgusting. Alright. Come on, man. Take us out, Mac. Take us out, Mac. Alright, man. Let's get into it, man. My God, this song is amazing. Alright, man. Let's get into it. And, alright, so I'm going to start by talking about the fact that earlier today, or was it yesterday? I'm not sure. When you're watching this, it's Thursday. So, whatever day it was that it was released that a posthumous Mac Miller album will be dropping January, I want to say 17th, I think was the release date. I'm not too sure on that. Don't quote me on that. And the album title is going to be called Circles. And it's going to be, it was intended to be a double album between Swimming and Circles. And the concept was supposed to be Swimming in Circles. But unfortunately, he passed away before that ever got to be released, and he was working with it with another person. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the person that he was working with on the album. He was working with on the album. But it said that he, on the Instagram post that was posted on Mac Miller's page, it said that he dedicated to finishing that album, and it's finally done, and it's going to be released. I just like to reaffirm my stance on this, because I have talked about this before on the releasing of music. The releasing of music of a of a deceased artist. And my stance here doesn't change. If you watch any of these podcasts where I talk about music, you know that I'm a real huge Mac Miller fan. And this plays into what I was saying a couple podcasts ago, because I did talk about this already, and I don't want to keep making the same points over and over again. But I just don't agree with people releasing music that may or may not have been intended to hear by the public. I know it was intended to be an album released. It just so many, like, he's an artist in every sense of the word. In every sense of the word, Mac Miller is one of the best and the most underrated album artists of our time. Of all time, actually, I should say. And so his brain functions differently than anyone else's. He's gonna make song selections, beat selections. It would be a completely different album if Mac was doing it rather than the guy that he was working with. Not to discredit the guy that he was working with, but it's just the truth. And I won't be listening to it. I will not listen to the new Mac Miller album because, again, I'm not trying to make a point. I'm not trying to be the moral police here, but it's weird for me to listen to something that from a person who isn't here. They can't put their input into it. And I have made this point before on this podcast that I don't listen to albums. That's why I just wanted to quickly touch on that. Rest in peace, prayers and condolences to Mac Miller. May he rest well, man. May he rest well. I won't listen to the album, but I do hope it's a good, solid body of work, because I think every single project that Mac Miller has put out he hasn't missed yet. I think Good AM, Divine Feminine, and Swimming are all classics. Watching Movies with the Sound Off, it has flaws, but I wouldn't. That's the only reason why I wouldn't call it a classic. I think there's songs on that album he could have cut out that would have made it a way better project, but that's neither here nor there. Again, that's his brain at work. You see what I mean? The liberties that a person is gonna have while making this new project are something that I hate to attach his name to, if that makes sense. Because it's not his. It may be his vocals on it, but it's not his. And that's the only point I want to make here, man. I'm not going to be listening to the new Mac Miller album. Nothing against Mac, man. Again, one of my favorite artists, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm going to stay on, I guess I'll quickly touch on it. New music releasing. Party Next Door and the Drake and Future album are coming this January. And it already looks like this is going to be a better year musically than 2019. 2019 had a lot of solid projects, but no, like, big name artists, no like, megastar artists dropped. None of the Drake's, Futures, none of the Drake, Cole, Kendrick's, Sean's, none of those dropped in 2019. It was a lot of good projects, don't get me wrong. It was a lot of good music, not great music, that was released. I'm not a huge Party Next Door fan. I've never really liked his music like that, if I'm being completely honest. But I know he's a huge artist. And the Drake and Future collab, we know what they could do. The What a Time to Be Alive album is one of the more underrated albums on both of their discographies, actually. And it's one of my favorite Drake projects. I'm not too particular on Drake. If you notice on my last episode on the top 10 albums, I didn't have a Drake project on there because I don't think he's I don't classify him as a hip hop artist, and I don't think he is a hip hop artist, and that's not a knock on him because he's the biggest artist in the world. I don't think you could just be a hip hop artist and be the biggest artist in the world. I don't think hip hop is large enough for you to be that. So he has to be a pop star. But on the What a Time to Be Alive album, that was like mainly all rapping. And I like the soft rapping too. I don't like the hard trap drum rappings. I like the songs like Diamond Dance and Scholarships. I want that album, the song leak that leaked. I don't know the name of the song that leaked off this new project, but it sounded like that. And that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited to hear these two boys tear that shit up. I'm hyped for that album. Can't speak to the Party Next Door album. I don't really fuck with Party like that. So moving on, man. Jesus. So the world is really ending, man. I guess I'll talk about this now. Cause when else am I gonna talk about this, right? So Australia is basically on fire, and no one really seems to give a fuck. I don't know the cause of why Australia is on fire, but it seems very bad. A lot of animal species that are special to that habitat are dying. And no one seems to really give a fuck. A huge stance on this would be that we're America and we got our own problems, but I really challenge that by saying, yeah, but we're not really trying to solve our problems here. You know what I mean? Like, all the problems that we got here are very solvable, but we choose not to solve them because they make money. So why would we solve them if we could get a check off the people who suffer? With that being said, I personally would rather you take the money that you're using to solve American problems, quote unquote, and donate some of that to Australia. That is an actual like current problem. Like, that's not something we could put off, like healthcare or some shit like that. Like, that needs to be solved now. Which brings me to this. Men are so fucking weak when it comes to anything related to females. Men are fucking weak, man. Why don't we just call a spade a spade? Men are weak. Men, I feel like men are more emotionally attached than women at times to things. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, actually, I can't say that. I can't say emotionally attached. Men are more stupid. Men are more, I just say men are weaker. I can't say emotionally attached. Can't say that. Women wear emotion on their sleeve, and men don't. So I think that's where the distinction comes in. Anyway, what I was saying before I fucking got sidetracked there was a number of websites and I'm gonna call them independent creators here have started selling nudes and things of that nature to raise money to donate to Australia to the cause. This one Twitter user, her Twitter handle goes by the name of The Thought Philanthropist, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think. She raised over, like, I think the last time I checked, and this was yesterday when I checked, she raised over $60,000 off selling nudes alone. It's for a great cause. Don't get me wrong. It's fucking amazing and it's phenomenal. But I think that speaks to how weak men are. And that's really it, man. That's all I got. There's sites like OnlyFans. I know some of you sick motherfuckers out there know exactly what I'm talking about when I say OnlyFans. There's I'm gonna call them independent creators again, who are using that platform specifically to raise money and to donate to donate to the Australian cause. You men, you're so fucking. They use this as an excuse to say they're donating to charity. They just want to beat their meat, bro. Men are fucking sick. Pray for Australia, man. Pray for the wildlife out there, and pray for the people out there as well, the first responders and all that, because it looks very serious. It looks like an actual problem. With that being said, let me shift to World War III. So it looks like we're actually going to be involved in a war here. And I want to get serious for a little bit. It looks like we're actually going to get involved in a war here. It looks that way. Trump this morning, or last morning, when you're watching this, he made a speech, and despite the fact that a lot of people are accusing, and allegedly he was on Adderall or some shit like that, he didn't declare war, which I applaud Trump for not doing. He did not declare war just yet, because if you don't know what I'm talking about, the day before the speech I'm talking about, which was Tuesday night, Iran fired missiles at a U.S. Iraqi a base. They fired I want to say a dozen missiles. I might be wrong, 12 or 16. I'm not. My memory is fucked up. I'm not sure if I'm getting the right number of missiles, but the point stands anyway. There's videos going around now of missiles being fired and launched at different sites, and missiles being launched at people too, at soldiers now. So it looks like we are entering a modern day war. And it is being handled exactly like I thought it would be. People are just fucking memeing the shit out of it. On Twitter mainly. But people are memeing the shit out of the war. And it's like a very serious thing. I'm at a loss for words here. I am. Because it's exactly what I thought would happen if we ever got to this point. And my fucked up brain, it thinks like that a lot. Like, what would actually happen if a conflict started between us and another nuclear capable country? This memes, bro, and they're fucking hilarious. And they mean no disrespect to the troops who are actually putting their life on the line for the cause, for the country, for me to be sitting here making a podcast. But they're hilarious. Lighten up a bit. Soldiers have TikToks and they're making TikToks. Soldiers are making memes too. And I know there's a group of people out there that are being like, yeah, it's serious. And I think we all have to get to a point where we make these jokes and then we realize that shit's actually happening. You know? You gotta it's all good to make jokes, but I think after the jokes you have to get serious, because then people will probably receive the wrong message, in that people will take your message the wrong way. And that's really it, man. That's all I got on World War III. The draft memes are fucking hilarious. And that's it, man. Alright. Oh shit! I can't believe. Let me take a couple step backs here. I missed this. When I was on my music segment, that I want to talk about this rant the baby went on Twitter. And let me see if I can pull up the tweets actually. If you don't know, the baby was locked up for allegedly, and I say allegedly here, beating up a promoter for not paying his full amount in of what he was owed for a show. Give me a second here. I can't find the fucking tweet. Sucks, man. I just saw it too. It don't matter. Alright, whatever. Alright, fucking forget about it. Basically, the tweet said that what the tweet was trying to the message the tweet was saying was Instagram has created a society where people will search for validity through social media, and it has changed the landscape of how we as humans view others. And he wouldn't be on social media if it wasn't such a lucrative business tool. Keywords there. Because he's not cut from that cloth. If you watch this podcast throughout the episodes, not every single episode, I'm not gonna say every single episode, but throughout the tenure of this podcast, I have said those same exact words too. Not those same exact words, but I have echoed the same sentiments. Social media is fucking up your mind in ways you cannot understand. Like, it's fucking up the psychology of a human. And you don't even realize it. Huge reason why I am afraid to get huge social media, a huge social media following. That's really one of the reasons why, because the damaging effects it can have on a human. In that same sentence, I am currently doing business ventures and shit like that require me to have a huge social media and a huge social media following in order for me to get out there. I know exactly what the fuck the baby's talking about. It's gonna force me to take into account things that I really don't give a fuck about. Your following amount, your follower amount, your impressions and reactions, shit like that is now playing a part in me being able to be successful in what I want to be successful in. It now has a bearing and a say on shit that I want to do moving forward with my life. In order for me to do that, I gotta grow now. And let me tell you, as someone who's fucked up in the head, I don't want to. I don't want to be a huge social media following. I don't want to have that. I don't want to be, because I know what it does to a person's psychology. I know how that can fuck with someone and how you can lose sight of what's important. It can cloud your morals and your judgment. And all that social media shit is fun and games until you gotta meet people in real life. Ugh. It's something, and I'm really glad the baby said that, by the way. I'm super glad. Cause if he's not gonna say it, no one will. I'm glad a voice said it, and a huge voice at that, the baby, bringing awareness to what social media is doing to people out there. All right, man. I didn't mean to do that shit. All right. So let me switch to this. Humans are fucking hilarious to me. Because for some weird reason, and I can't tell you why, but I think it's obvious through the fucking media and movies that Hollywood just keeps pumping out, and that regular, everyday humans have an affinity for true crime, like real true crime. And I think it's starting to catch up. Hollywood is starting to catch on to that. Well, all the TV shows of serial killers, the fake ones and the real ones, the movies about them, and about true events and true shit that has happened, true crime. We lose sight of not only the fact that people are still affected by what's happening, like shit, like from for example, the Ted Bundy tapes, where the fucking victims, the relatives of the victims are still alive, and we really don't give a fuck about how they feel about the situation. We lose sight of that aspect when talking about true crime. Why am I talking about this now? If you don't know, Netflix and I believe another streaming service, I'm not sure what the streaming service is though, but I know there are 2 Aaron Hernandez documentaries coming out, and one of them is on Netflix, and I saw the trailer to the one on Netflix, and that shit looks good. It looks like a good, compelling story, but again, that's my human nature saying, having that affinity for crime, and I'm gonna talk about that. I think regular, everyday humans, and the reason why it's such a smash hit of why people decide to make movies on true crime is because we want to understand why people do it. We want to understand the brain makeup and the psychology of why a person chooses to serialize their murders. It's not just a regular kill. Like, there's no clear motive on why people are doing this. And us, as curious, fucking stupid humans, would like to know why. That's why we have 7,000 movies on Ted Bundy and his fucking murders. It is an amazing concept, the serial killer. It is. And that's why we're so drawn to it. More than anything, than any other type crime. Like, true crime is one that'll set out. I think that's why the Joker movie was such a success too, because it plays more in the role of society creating a serialized murder that can actually happen, rather than him being put in a vault of toxic waste or some shit. Whatever the actual story for the Joker was, I think the story they chose to go with is much more compelling and way more. It offers way more connection with society. The Aaron Hernandez documentaries that are coming out, the murders happened in like 2014. And Jesus, man, how do the family members of Aaron Hernandez feel? I'm assuming they got permission to do this from them, and but like Aaron Hernandez committed suicide like in 2016, I think. There's already movies about it like 4 years later. This is insane. This is wild to me anyway. In my brain. Shit. People might be still going through the grieving stages of not only of his passing, of what he did. And that's all I'll say on that, because again, this goes to one of my other philosophies, that death topic is really one of those topics I try to stay away from, because the person who's passed isn't here to defend themselves. So that's all really I'll say on the unfortunate. Well, not let me not say unfortunate, but on the Aaron Hernandez documentaries. All right, man. I think it's that time in the podcast where I talk sports. Ooh, sports. This past weekend, my Eagles were eliminated from the playoff contention, sadly. And yeah, man, there's really not much to say. Carson Wentz went down with a concussion. That was a big story. It sparked a lot of debate on whether or not Carson Wentz is durable or not. I think you're fucking stupid if you think a concussion, a hit to the back of the head, warrants his durability, but whatever. That's not my place to say. I mean, it's not my place to tell people what they can or can't think. I just think you're stupid. if you see the past month of what he's done with, I know it was against the NFC East, please, but what he did with not only weapons that no one knows the name of, they're weapons that weren't in the NFL. Like, they weren't playing professional football 4 months ago. Like, he did that with that. Look at his numbers. They're like MVP type numbers this past month. It'd be okay if he was playing okay. It'd be a different story if he was playing okay and he was winning. Nah, he's playing like an MVP with these weapons. Like, if only he had a Michael Thomas on the outside, a Julio Jones, a fucking D-Hop. You know what I mean? I'd settle for a Juju Smith-Schuster, a Mohamed Sanu. Well, let me not say the Mohamed Sanu because you know what he did in New England. But that's all I gotta say on my man Wentz, man. You know I'm a fucking Wentz dick rider. Let me talk about the other teams. Let me make actually predictions. So the games that are coming up, there are Niners and Vikings. Let me start with the NFC. Niners and Vikings and Packers and Seahawks. I think Seahawks win in Lambeau Field. I think that's a close game though, a lot closer than people think. I think it'll be decided. If I was a betting man, I'd take Seattle. I don't know what the spread is, but I'm taking Seattle to win outright. Niners and Vikings. Vikings. I'm gonna say Vikings upset the Saints. But I've been saying all year to the people I talk sports with that the Saints aren't that good. They aren't what they used to be. I've been saying that for the longest time, and while everyone was praising them as this juggernaut, I've been saying that the Saints are not that good, and they haven't been good all year. Vikings expose them. Kirk Cousins, there are now expectations on Kirk Cousins' play. If you look, people had the Saints blowing out the Vikings. And I think that played a major part in why the Vikings played so well. People don't see that about the Vikings no more. A lot of people see the Vikings as actual contenders now. And for that reason, I think they'll fold. And they're going to lose badly to the Niners. The Niners are a tough, physical team. No mercy. I love the way the Niners play. I love it. Because that's how they remind me of the 2017 Eagles. All right, man. Let me move to the AFC. The games are Houston and at Kansas City. I think Kansas City wins this, and I don't think it's going to be close. I know the type of player Deshaun Watson is, but I think him and D-Hop and his weapons aren't enough to bypass what Patrick Mahomes can do. And to overcome what his defense isn't that great. And his offensive line is worse. So I think that Deshaun Watson's heroics aren't enough to win this game. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are just too good on every side of the ball. And if you peep, this past month, Kansas City has been playing better defense. And that's been the story of why people don't like Kansas City. People have been saying the Kansas City defense isn't that good. But, mind you, this past month, that when it really mattered, their defense has been stepping up. They've been winning games based on defense. And that's what you want to see from a Super Bowl team. Titans and Baltimore. This is going to be the best game of the weekend. I do think Baltimore wins just because of Lamar Jackson and the fact that he's a running back on steroids playing quarterback. Like, this man is crazy. Crazy athletic. He's like a wide receiver and running back playing quarterback. And he does a damn good job of playing quarterback. Like, he can throw the ball. Like, he leads the league in touchdown passes. Granted, his receivers might be wide open because they're so worried about him escaping and running for 50. What are you going to do, man? I think that's going to be the best game. I think the Titans put up a valiant effort and a good fight, but I think the Baltimore just comes out on top. And quick scores for these games. I think Seattle wins 23-20. Niners win 35-20, I'm going to say. Kansas City wins 28-17. And Baltimore wins 31-24 with a late touchdown scored by Lamar Jackson. All right, man. That's it, man. What else is there to talk about, man? Let's get the fuck out of here, man. And I'm ending the podcast the same way I started it, with some Mac Miller. Because it's never enough Mac Miller, man. You can never have enough Mac Miller. Let me see. Another one of my favorite songs. This is on Swimming. Actually, never mind. I'm going to play this one. That is on Good AM. Another one of my favorite songs on Mac Miller. And man, I'm getting the fuck out of here, man. Wah, 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 wah. Hey, wah, wah. Hey, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going to eat. I gotta take a shit. What else, man? What else is there to talk about, man? Alright, man. Stay safe. Be safe. Remember, your life can change with a phone call. So, please be aware of that. Be prepared for the worst. Pray for the best, but prepare for the worst. It's always the most important here. Alright, man. I'm getting the fuck out of here, and I'll be here next week, man. I promise I'll be here next week. Take care. My